Rev today because they both kind of, I mean, obviously you can tell this huge volume bar, but even before it was like kicked in, hope y'all can see that too. But even before this one kicked in, like the full, the size of red, it was still quite a bit bigger by the time it was reaching that 8. And today, too, I traded like crap. So I actually took an L. I was thinking that it would have a bounce here. So I took an L on that. But then here, if you look at Rev, the same thing. And these are like plays whenever they kind of come in the morning without much volume at all. Like right here, you can see just like nothing. Then you get a big chunk of volume. Same with UAC. But this one, you can see it really, like this one looks like it's all red, but a lot of it was buying pressure too. But when it comes back to that 8, like it's dying off. So it's something that I need to focus on more too moving forward, is really looking at, is that volume dying off, or is it kind of like getting growing in size? And it seems like, and correct me if you'll have anything different, but I feel like whenever it starts dying off, that means all that selling pressure's evaporated.
Yeah,
So it's something that I need to pay attention for
yeah,
sure.
I see what you mean. Something like that, like, because looking at the 5 minute, and you can't really see what's really going on in the candle, because it's a 5 minute candle. But if you flip to the one,
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure there
Oh
was
yeah,
like a little bit of consolidation, maybe higher lows.
yeah. There's a little higher low there too.
Yeah, it pulled back in. Held your that green line. I don't know what it is, but
This one,
the one
yeah,
on
that's the
top of
20.
it.
Oh, that's the 8. That's
Yeah,
the 8 and
so
the 20.
I can see, we got rejected off the VWAP. We wicked to the upside of that
Yep.
candle, and then we kind of had that 1 minute flag, kind of low VPA, held our trade line, which is the EMA 8 or 9, whichever one you have on, and then I see, we blasted through the VWAP when buyers started stepping in. So like something I think that would have helped you here was looking at the 1 minute, because that 5 minute candle, you can't really see what's going
Yeah,
on in it.
for sure, for sure. And I think I just didn't have enough confidence to looking at this and taking a stab at it. I also already I started out the day terrible. I started TRKN, and I thought that it looked prime. I normally don't trade free market, but I bought some free market and that just dumped on me. So I started out nice and negative,
Nice.
which today was just a complete battle. I traded like an idiot all day. Luckily, I was squeaked out green, but uh, but yeah, I think that also had part of the reason. But yeah, it's definitely good to look at that one and pay attention to that
Yeah,
as well.
it definitely is. You get some like some detailed analysis on what's really going on within that candle.
Yeah.
And then another thing that
Um,
I wanted to note, see how we broke over that orb level on that bullish engulfing?
right here
Yeah. So if you draw like a price line right on the top of that body of the candle,
from this one
yeah, not on the wick
or
though, on the
this one.
actual. No, no, yeah, you're on the right candle right there. Yeah, draw
All
your
right.
line right there, straight across, and then you can kind of
Straight
see,
across.
yeah, you can kind of see on the 1 minute we broke through
Oh
it,
yeah.
and yep, we kind of held it right there.
So you're looking at the body of that first candle.
Yeah, I like to go off bodies unless it's like like if we wick up into the same, like let's say a stock's at 6 and we wicked up into like 605, 607 like multiple times, then I'll count that wick. But normally when it's like that, I'll normally go off the body because that's where it really closed. That's the wick is just where it went, but the body is
Right.
where it really
Where
closed.
where they held. Yeah.
Yeah.
Where buyers can held. That makes total sense. It's a really good point.
Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you
Of
for that
course, of
information.
course.
But yeah, so this one I mean I missed this whole move. I was kind of scared. I think I played like the first quick pullback. Sometimes I like to just scalp a little bit.
Yeah, I had a couple
But
of
yeah, I missed
scalps
all
too.
that. Yeah, I scalped all over. You know how.
Yeah, I know how you trade.
You don't want to see my charts, especially today when I overtrade. Oh, it was rough. Let's see. Let's see what my total number was today. Yeah, 418 was today. Definitely need to get that number down. My goal tomorrow is like half that, 200.
Yeah.
Wait, 200 trades?
Orders. So So I don't know how many like actual like trades I do, but order wise, yeah, I had
Does that
418.
include like canceled orders?
No, it's bad.
That's filled
Wow.
orders, huh?
Holy God.
Yeah,
I think the
I mean,
highest I ever.
I traded 5 times today.
I
That's
just I don't know. It's just the personality I have. I like to like just jump in, jump out.
Yeah,
Um,
sure.
I feel like as a like Jizban, I know you're more of a scalper right now, and I feel like as a scalper, those numbers are gonna be crazy high. You know.
yeah, exactly.
I think the highest I've ever had mine, I believe, was 170, 190, something like that, for the filled orders
Yeah,
in a day. But like, you got
Uh,
to keep in mind the filled orders can be like scale in, scale out. So it's
right, exactly.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, it's something I need to keep down. I trade. I do better. My P&L is always better when I minimize my trades. So I just need to get back to that. Today was definitely a exhaustion type day. I've been struggling this last. That's why I didn't even wasn't here yesterday. I needed to step away because I was just so mentally exhausted. Um, but hopefully I feel a lot better now. So hopefully tomorrow we can keep that trade amount down. Um, but yeah, so that was. I kind of wanted to compare this one to DWAG. Um, what else? AVCT at the end of the day. I traded that. That's always on the wrong day. Let's clear some of this clutter. Also, would you rather me just make a one chart and just make it bigger?
however you prefer, because I know that you're using the five and the one together.
Yeah.
So however you
Or
prefer.
if there's, we could even just do charts, two charts, right? This would work.
Yeah, that works as
And
well.
then we'll just do like a. Uh, might be weird next to each other, but we can try it out. There we go. And then we'll do five. Let's do one first, and then the five will be next to it. All right. That way y'all can see better too. So yeah, when this thing started opening up, there was on the one. That's the thing that's hard because on this one it had no eight pullback at all. So I kind of just I had to scalp any entry I could find. I really wanted to get something close to these highs here.
Yeah, something with
Um,
better risk.
yeah, and so because it broke through it, so I was like, all right, but it really wasn't giving us any pullback at all, and it had consistently high volume, and then even this thing, like when it scooped, it got bought up so quick, and I quickly bought some, and then I sold, and then I was waiting, and then the next eight, I think, or the next five, I think it was on this next five. I think it was within this one. It opened up. What time does that one start? Let's see if I'm correct or incorrect. 12:50. Oh yeah, I'm so stupid.
You're
So no,
not
this
dumb,
one
man.
right at the end, 12:19. Yeah, but it pulled back down, and I bought that dip because like there just wasn't anything, which might have been a bad idea, but it ended up working out. But there's definitely no eight EMA pullback unless you went really late in the game.
Yeah, I could see that that those previous highs to the left, like the initial highs in the morning.
Yeah,
Did we try and bounce off those levels at all?
yeah, we right in here we did a little bit.
Yeah, that could
But
have,
again,
you
it
know,
does. You don't pull back all the way. It's just pulling back to these
yeah. You
like
like
mid nineties.
normally, like for me, I like going forward. You should mark those highs because those highs can also, like those are good risk points. Like the fact that they were
Yeah,
such heavy resistance earlier in the day, and then now you actually broke over them on higher volume, and you're actually holding over them. That's one sign of strength. So like going forward, I think you could always enter off of those previous highs, and then they also provide really low risk. Because I see if you like caught the bottom on that, it would have been like 177, 178, and then you could see
yeah,
your risk is like 175, 176, and then you have your move into 190. Like risk to reward is pretty good there in my opinion.
Yeah, no, for sure. That was definitely a good one. I was just here too. I mean, it's the end of the day. And I had a little bit of green, so I was more worried too of it just like meeting these highs, I guess. But you're right, it kind of pulled through them, or went through them, and then it just tested them. Yeah, that would have been good for sure.
Yeah, another sign of strength is right after we broke through that 176 high, you could see that stuff candle on high volume on the 5 minute.
This one.
Yeah, you could see how it didn't give follow through, it didn't crack that level. So that's
Oh, on the way down.
yeah, that's another like indication of strength.
Yeah, let's see how it looked on the one too. That was what time? 12:25.
Yeah, I believe it's
So yeah, crack down, and then it has these
1 minute low volume
look at these-
consolidation and
Yeah, wow. That's the biggest thing. Like, look at those 2 bars.
exactly, that's where you want to be a buyer
Insane. Yeah.
on that low
Yeah,
VPA
definitely
pullback.
something to look at when everyone's just sitting there waiting, like, all right, is this thing gonna dump or not?
Yeah,
And then once it's gotten 2 minutes of people saying, all right, it's not dumping, then it just rips.
yeah,
It makes sense when you look at it.
yeah,
People are scared here, and then people are scared here as well. Here they're selling scared. Here they're scared that it's gonna keep dumping, but whenever it doesn't, it rips.
yeah. Also, that high right there that you put in on the 1 minute to the left of the 190, like right on that dump. Yeah, so I can imagine like there were people shorting, and they got short against that 184 area, and then when it dumped down and then came back up and broke that high, I'm sure a lot of shorts were like, all right, this thing might go. Let me get out of my position here. And so that gave you that little because you could see the volume into 190s. You could see how it's like the highest volume of the day almost.
Yep.
So like that could
Yep.
also be some short covering and
For sure.
buyers.
I'm sure people thought that it's not gonna go much past the high of the day, so they gave it a little room to run here,
Yeah,
and then it did pull back. But then once there wasn't any follow through, they're like, all right, we're getting out.
yeah,
Makes sense for sure. And then Nut X, I didn't even realize that thing was going off until it was way like I didn't even know this was out there until somewhere in here, and I was like, sheesh. And I looked at this 5 minute, and I was like, man, there's so many opportunities on this chart. Like this one was, look at that VPA.
yeah, really light.
Just perfect.
Also, that first 5 minute flag, really nice. Yeah, right over there. Up a little bit.
This one?
A little more higher.
Oh,
Yup, right in there. Yeah, look at the VPA on that flag.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Right into the trade line.
There's a lot of good ones. But I didn't even know this was aware. I still don't have trade ideas or anything. I told myself once I make a certain amount, then I'll invest in it. But for now, I haven't passed that threshold, so eventually I will. Right now, I just stream one of them on YouTube.
Yeah, I know trade ideas because I have a subscription, and they give you all those like newsletters and the emails. They have this test drive thing for Halloween where you can pay, I believe it's like $11 USD, and you get access to the full trade ideas for like 2 weeks straight. And then if you do decide to make a membership, I think they give you like 20 to 30% off.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe I gotta what I gotta need to do then is trade like a boss until until.
Yeah.
Halloween.
But like even like it's only $11, so like you could even get it, see if you really like it, see if it really benefits you, and take that test drive.
Yeah, I think part of it too is I don't want to bog my computer down too. I mean, I think it's pretty decent, but it's not like the craziest. I'm trading a laptop too.
Yeah, definitely. You don't want to overpower it or anything.
Yeah, so I gotta so it might be a good idea to just test it out and see if it does work.
Yeah, first thing I did when I made enough money was I upgraded the whole setup.
Yeah, that's on my list for sure. And hopefully it's soon.
Hopefully sooner than later. I agree.
Yeah, hopefully soon. Which we're on the right track.
Just got to keep sticking to it.
Yeah, we're working on a PR week right now, so.
I hope you hit it, man.
Appreciate. Well, we're past it. I just can't fuck it up tomorrow.
Fuck it,
Yeah,
take the day off.
no, no. But yeah. And then yeah. So this one is beautiful. I just didn't even see it. This is the one I fucked up in the morning. Yeah, so this was in the morning, and this is kind of where like pennies too. I know, but it came down. Yeah, this was it. And like came down, volume stepping down all the way to the 8, and I entered, and I just got too caught up in it and took a nice loss in that big wick down. And I was peeved too because normally I never ever enter pre-market, especially with any size, but I thought it looked really good. And oh well, yeah. Sometimes they rip, sometimes they don't.
Yeah, it
I still
happens.
want to stick to waiting because if you wait, I feel like once the market opens, things are much more predictable. I think going from pre-market to open, there's a lot of unknowns. Like I think setups are more likely to break down. At least like that's what I've experienced. So I like to just stick to trading open market rather than from pre to open, and that's something that I just need to stick to. It's got a little obstacle there, and I paid the price. So yeah, there's plenty of opportunities on this thing too.
Yeah,
After,
I
on
took
this
the
way
L
up
on this
too.
name as well.
Did you?
Yeah.
Rip.
Uh,
What else did we have? We had SNTI had some good plays. Yeah, this was really webbly though. Yeah, never really respected. It definitely dipped below here quite a bit, and then it ripped.
I took a
Early.
trade on that.
Did you? Where at?
Yeah, right at the bottom of that second.
Over here?
A little further right. Yeah, right at the end of that sell-off.
Oh, this one, and then.
No, further down. Literally.
Oh,
dude, it was
down right here. Oh, like at this bottom.
Yeah. Because if you
Right.
look at the 10 that bounced right off the 30, and
It's the 10-minute.
yeah, and I was just using 72 as because that's the top of the previous resistance. I was using that as a risk off, and it actually turned out to be a pretty decent trade. I mean, I've only been trading 100 shares every single trade, which is like agonizing because I had 2 really good trades on IMUX, but I only made like $100.
Dude, that's awesome though.
Yeah, I mean, you know, it's something that I've been adhering to for the past while.
Good, good.
Just trading 100 shares, so.
Yeah, all of September I've been trading really small size, and then in October I started to step it up. But it's definitely the way that if once you have consistent green, that's whenever I started sizing up. So
Yeah.
good to hear that you're sticking to that, though. Definitely keep at it. But yeah, so you just trade this because it's like super low volume.
Yeah, and I don't know. I feel like I have a decent. Like that's kind of like the best edge that I have as a trader is after sell-offs because I almost always miss the move, and getting caught in too many FOMO situations. I've really, for the past like year and a half, I've just been focusing on, basically bounce plays after sell-offs happen and trying to read that angle and
Yeah, I was holding that previous 2 days ago open. So and you can kind of see too. It kind of respected that here. Right here, it respected it. So
and
yeah,
then I was just
risking
down
low volume.
the top of that, the previous low, which is 72. That's what I was risking.
Oh, right here. Or
Further left. Got the biggest dip right there. To your right. Right there, yeah. Right in there is what I was risking off of. Just, if it broke through there, I figured it would continue to, go lower.
So. I gotcha. Hell yeah. That's a little W. Did you take some off into here before it came back down?
Yeah, I did. I ended up selling half on that initial pop there, and they were both basically sold at the same amount because after I sold the first half on that pop, I just held 50, hoping for a continuation.
Right.
But I got distracted by. I think it was. I can't remember what other ticker, and then it just ultimately, ended up selling. But I got filled at, I think, 96, which was decent,
Yeah, really good.
And it was opened at, I took entry at 380, so it was a nice little.
Yeah, it's a great trade.
Nice little trade. If I had some size, it would have been nice, but $16 is 16.
Doesn't matter. It's about being consistent. If you can consistently make that a day, then you can size up to 200, and then you can keep on staying at.
Every great trader once made like $10 a day. Keep that in mind.
Yeah. And IMUX, man, that thing, that's been my focus. It's literally like almost all week. And I've been so infuriated because I'm looking too much as a scalper. I'm looking too much under the microscope most of the time. And even though, I barely look at the 1 anymore, I look at the 2 primarily and the 5 and, and the 10 and 15, but the 2 and the 5 are the ones that I'm looking at constantly. But if I would have just taken a step back, I had so many entries through this thing that were phenomenal. If I would have just taken a step back and just it held the 8 or the 9, whichever. Both days basically, and I was looking for a larger move, but every time you get in and you're looking at under the microscope, just scalping it,
Yeah, it definitely held this 8 pretty much all the way.
Yeah.
I hesitated on that flag setup.
This one right here?
Yep, on the 5 minute.
Yeah.
I
had a really good trade. I mean, one of my better trades in the past while on this. So, I was happy with that. Yeah. I did take a pretty annoying loss on it, which was, it's the tough thing about trading when, the highs sometimes are so short-lived.
Yeah, no, I feel you. But it's about base hits and about keeping to them, and they add up for sure.
Yeah.
And being super strict mentally, which is the hardest part, which I struggled with today. 2
flags that I kind of took entries on, and they both, they treated me well, so.
Yeah. Nice. Anything else? Anything else you want? Or solid too, if you want to drive.
Yeah. What'd you trade today, Solid?
Yeah, I'll share my screen and go from there. Just Ben, are you all set though?
Yeah. Good.
Okay.
I don't want to review any of my shit.
Why not, man?
I'm kidding. I'll go through it all myself too. I always record it.
Okay, so I'll start off with the first trades of the day, which was going to be APDN. So APDN, right at the open, we had this resistance here. We broke over it, low VPA pullback, buyers stepped in, we pushed higher, reclaimed over our VWAP. Then we kind of had this 5 minute, I guess you call it 3 bar or, flag setup. I was looking at it as a flag setup. We had the descending VPA, and so I got long on this one at 263. So it was like kind of bottom ticked, almost. I believe it was on one of these candles right over here. So I got long 263. We had a couple pops into 270, one pop here into 274. I didn't take any off. I was looking for this downtrend break, and I was looking for that extension that we ended up getting later on in the day. Trying to scroll up to the top because I had a whole game plan drawn out for this one, and I just want
What's that downtrend off
of this pre-market high over here.
And then what's it connecting to? I guess is what.
So once we formed this high, I obviously didn't have it drawn. Then once we formed this high, I looked and I'm like, okay, this might establish a trend here, and that's why I drew the line. Looking left further, yeah, there's really nothing else to connect it to except for these two highs. So like by textbook, this isn't really a trend, because normally textbook a trend will be 3 points, but we did kind of have this downtrend break that I'll get into in a second. I believe right over here. Yeah, so APDN 5-minute flag, and it failed. So we got stuffed on high volume, and I got kind of a shitty fill on this. I got filled all the way 254, so kind of close to the bottom. Then after after I did sell out, I looked left and I'm like, okay, wait, we have this resistance. We held it here. Now we double bottomed. However, I didn't just re-enter right away because we did have this, this high volume stuff. So I was like, okay, let's see if we can consolidate. Let's see if we can make the move back up to the trend line. And then I'll just trade it as a, downtrend break. So later on in the day, we get this downtrend break, kind of a 1-minute flag, and wrote that right over here on the downtrend retest. I got long on it here, 268, right into this pullback into our EMA and the retest. You can see it was on lower volume, high volume push through it, low volume pullback to retest it. And then as soon as we popped up through here, took my first piece off at 281, so that was right over high a day. And then I went over to the daily, and I was saying, okay, we got this, where was it? 290s, we get over 290, we can possibly test 3. Over 3, we can go up to 320s. So that's what I wrote over here, nice retest. And going back on the 1 minute, this was mainly, I would say, a support and resistance trade, because, we broke over 280s, and then I wrote, let's see 280 firm up on any pullback. And this is the reason why. If you look left, you can see 280 was this like yesterday's high area. So I wanted to see that area hold once we cleared back over it. And sure enough, we did. You could see, high volume push up, kind of low volume VPA pullback, more buyers step in. So as soon as we got this extension off the bounce of 280, I took my next piece off at 292. And then I was like, okay, I'm down to like a really small piece in this, I'm on my last piece. Let me hold it and let me see if this plays out, and let me see if we get our 320, because I was looking for 320s. So I was like, APDN, come on. And then once we got the 290 break over here, I was looking for the 290s to firm up. And the reason for that was it was kind of this resistance area over here, 294, 290 area. Ultimately, we got the break over here. We did stuff. However, we did hold our trade line. I believe I was on the 5-minute at this time. So you can see, we did stuffed into our trade line, held, kind of put in this little flag here. And that's what I wrote over here, APDN 5-minute flag now over 290s. And then once we got that last push through the highs, through 3, I took my last piece off at 308. And sure enough, we hit $3.20 on the dot. We never went higher. And the reason why I was targeting $3.20 is if you look left, I believe they were the body of these candles right over here. Yeah, right down here. Well, that's 328. I believe it was this one. Yeah, right over here. So I was looking at the bottom wick of this candle. We kind of had support all the way through. And, we broke down, confirmed the 320s as resistance. So I was looking for that move into 320s, and sure enough, we did catch it. So this one was a really, really nice play, and I do believe because I was on my last piece, I was able to kind of hold it longer and sit in the trade and really let it work, trust my analysis. But overall, I think this was a great trade, great entry.
Yeah, for sure.
Then overall, it was just literally support and resistance. We broke over this resistance. Now I just want to see low volume pullbacks into the resistance, and then I want to see some buyers step in. So that was one trade on that, or I'm sorry, the two trades on APDN. Then we had MMAT.
Good, but before you move on, too, good work on that. Really good analysis.
Oh, I appreciate it, man. Yeah, I was kind of half asleep while I was going through this, but I think I did pretty well.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's better, you know.
Yeah, right?
It never cracked the 8 on the 5 either. It always held that.
Yeah, that is true. We held the 8 all the way through, every pullback. And not only that, like we respected the levels so well. And another thing, the action was very, very clean. It wasn't, up, down, and except for this move over here, like this was nasty. But like after this kind of cleared out, after the stop losses got hit and fresh longs came in, I think overall until we got up into the 290 area, it was really, really clean action.
Yeah, for sure.
Like if we look yesterday, you could see clean action. Once you get up into 280s, it start whipsaw, and it's a lot more riskier. But overall, yeah, clean trade. I think I did pretty well on it.
For sure.
Can always do better though. And then MMAT, I seen this one come up. I believe it was right over here where I called it out. MMAT long here on this 5-minute flag setup. So right over here, we had this flag set up. I had 128 average. And then I did notice this 130 was so heavy on the tape, man. I remember looking at the tape and pretty sure I wrote it. I'm like, 130 is key. Got to start chipping this 130 wall. I remember every time we pulled back, there were a massive amount of bidders in the 127s, 128s. Like I'm talking 530. So I don't know, that's like 53,000 shares or so. And then every time we would come up to this 130 area, the ask would light up with, I believe it was 100 and, or I'm sorry, it was like 1,000. So I don't know if that's like 100,000 shares. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. But then I was like, okay, shoot. So we gotta, really get over this 130. And at one point, I did see it chipping, and we were chipping it really, really nicely. And that's where I wrote 130 wall chipping here on MMAT. The 130 was like that 100,000 shares were going from like 90, 85. It came all the way down to, I believe it was 18. And then right away on the pull down, there was a big bidder here. And I remember looking at that big bidder. I think I have a picture of the tape as well. Yeah, so here's our 128 bidder when we came down, 1389. So I'm like, all right, bidders are here. We might get some action here. You can see how we kind of chipped away that 130, 129 wall. But as soon as we came down here, that bidder like took his order off. And then what did the people on the ask side do? They started selling into the bid, and they were selling in heavily. And we had this big move down. I did not get to get a piece off. I initially took the loss at MMAT. Took the loss at 120, 123, so it was on this 124 crack over here, and that's where I wrote cut MMAT. And overall, was the other analysis from the APDN trade. But after this had failed on me, I decided why is this tape so heavy? Let me go look at the float. I wish I checked the float before I entered the trade because the float was 230 million. So like. Sure, it could have got moving, but the amount of volume that we're going to need to get a 230 million float stock moving is going to be insanely high, and we didn't have that in our tank. Another trade that I took was CRKN off of Herv's Alert. I remember I had this little wedge drawn. Looking at it now, I should have took my ads down here, however I didn't. Once we broke over this downtrend line on high volume, we kind of pulled back on light volume, took my entry right here at 38, and I didn't even get to get a piece off. As soon as I took my entry, we literally, I think I went in profits for like maybe a second or so, and it was nothing high enough, so if I even did sell some, I would be getting filled at basically break even because, we didn't even break 39 cents yet. And then ultimately, you could see what happened. The sellers just kind of started walking in, and we had this dump move into the lower trend line. So on this one, right when we broke the VWAP, I kind of got a bad fill on this. I got filled at 36 cents, so kind of down here. Looking at it now, I should have I should have cut once we broke this EMA on the 1 and couldn't really break back over it, because I'm sure this candle, was up here trying to get over it, and then ultimately it stuffed. But so that was another loser on the day.
Yeah, I have the exact same friends as you.
Yeah, and I know Herb posted this hilarious GIF right after it failed. Like, yeah, fuck me, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that one is painful, especially because I took the loss earlier.
Yeah.
So I even sized up heavier there, and then I dumped. I was like negative 130 on the name. Oh, it's so peeved.
Yeah, and another thing in the morning, a lot of the names were knifing, and like the fact that we broke over on high volume and we had that nice retest, I was like, all right, game time. Time to get up to these pre-market highs, and like looking at it now as well. We kind of just double topped in this area over here, and oh, that was really small.
Yeah. Yep.
But yeah, I'm sure you guys can see we had a double top here and over here. So something I also failed to notice. Maybe I should have waited for yeah. Maybe I should have waited for an extension through it, see if we can hold. But overall, I would take a low volume pullback on any downtrend test line. So, or downtrend retest. Sorry. So like, not really mad at it. I am mad that I didn't cut sooner. I am mad that I kind of sat in it. I wouldn't say hoping for it to reverse, but I was like looking for like, all right, maybe we get this short candle and then maybe they suck it up. But once we started coming down all the way here, I'm like, nah, this isn't looking the best. Volume's starting to pick up on this candle. Once we got over the 200,000 mark, which was the previous candle, I was like, all right, this is no longer a low volume pullback. Sellers are starting to overpower the buyers here. Even looking at the advanced study, you could see more selling pressure was coming in, less buyers were stepping in. So I was like, all right, time to cut. So proud of my execution. Not proud of the way that I managed my risk on it, because I think I could have avoided, the bigger L that I did take on it. But you live and you learn, right?
Yeah. One thing I want to point out too: be careful in that advanced study. Sometimes it can be deceiving. Remember, whenever I broke it down, what it's actually doing. I mean, I'm guessing you're using the same code as I am.
Yeah, most likely. So this one's the Ripster one. I don't know the code behind this one, but I'm pretty sure, all the studies kind of have the same code and they're just got different names. Yeah. But yeah, that is something that I should take into account. But like, even just looking at the standard volume, you could see right here, once we broke that 200,000 mark,
Right.
sellers
no, I just
were.
Want to point that out too, just like to mentally don't look down, or at least this is what I'm doing. I'm not trying to say you should, because do whatever you want. But one thing that I like to do is just definitely like catch myself doing that too. Like, oh look, there's more red than green, which sometimes it's not accurate. So
yeah.
More so just pay attention to where's that volume coming in, where is the selling. But yeah. But anyway, that was just sorry.
No, I agree with you, and that's something I shouldn't let I guess decide the fate on the trade, but
yeah, it's a good thing to like eyeball, but yeah. But anyway,
yeah.
Sorry to get you off track.
No, you're fine, man. That's what we're here for. We're all here to learn from each other.
Right.
So my next trade after that was SNTI. I had like, I believe 3 to 4 trades on this name. My first trade was this pullback into this pivot. I seen that we had this. I forgot where I got this pivot from. I believe it was from right over here. So you can see in this area we kind of had these highs. We broke over them and we finally held over them. And when I came into this one, it was more of a scalp mindset. I'm looking at it right now. I'm looking at my fills. SNTI.
Man, it was a beautiful alert.
Yeah, I played the first scalp, and then I alerted the 5-minute flag once it formed, and that was all the way up here. So I played this pullback into 386s. I got filled at 382. Wait, is that correct? Let me recheck my orders, because I have so many trades on this name. I'm trying to get the proper one. Yeah, SNTI at 10:44 a.m. I got filled at 395. So yeah, right over here. Once we started bouncing, kind of holding the EMA, I got long 395. And then my first piece came off at 402 on this break up here through these, flat top resistance area. You could see it was acting as support over here. Low volume pullback, buyers started stepping in. Took my first piece off at 402. Took my second piece off over here around the 410 area through the break of high a day. And then once we got this extension into the 420s area, I cut my last piece at 420 exactly. I'll be honest, I wasn't looking for this wild extension into 420s. I really was, planning on getting in and getting out, trying to recoup as much green as I could. But I guess you could say I did get lucky and I was able to catch this move up to here into 420. So pretty proud of that. Then we pulled back and I noticed we started consolidating over here. And then once we consolidated, I noticed that we had this 5-minute flag right here. And this is the flag that I actually alerted. You can see a nice 5-minute flag, low VPA pullback. The volume is descending really clean into this 390 area pivot. And that's where I got long at $4.10. I added more at 407. I added more at 404 into this pivot. And my initial risk was off the 397 area. And then ultimately, after I alerted it, buyers started stepping in. You can see on this candle, buyers stepped in, took my first piece off at 416. So that would be right around this area, right on the break. And then I cut the remaining piece right through high a day at 423. So, I didn't catch the top. I didn't get to get any off at 430s. But overall, clean trade for my second trade on the name. So I was pretty proud of that. Really nice flag setup, a trade I would take any day. VPA was perfect, like no complaints on this one from me at all. Actually, I think I could have got a better entry because I entered at 410, over here, and I was risking off 397. We did come down to it, however, we didn't break it, and we also held our trade line. But going forward, I think something I need to do overall in my trading is I need to focus on these support levels, and I need to start getting in closer to them because 410 there's much more risk on the table, although we did exceed with the reward. Just going forward, I don't think it's a good habit to form, so that's something I need to work on. And go ahead.
I was just saying, I like it. I like the mindset.
Yeah, we can always improve,
Exactly.
And then
exactly. You want to minimize that risk, so you just gotta be patient.
Exactly, yeah, and it will go. It'll be a good habit to form now, so that way later on when we're bigger, we have that good habit already instilled in our mindset. So then,
it's what'll make us get bigger too.
Exactly, you are correct. Then I noticed we had this kind of wedge forming. Someone in the stock chat actually posted the wedge, and that's where I was like, okay, shit, let me draw my lines. And I honestly didn't have the wedge drawn out until that person pointed it out. I forgot exactly who it was. Shout out to them. So I got long off the lower trend line, 382, right on this short candle. Volume was picking up, but I did notice this double bottom. Well, we didn't double bottom at the time. I did notice we had this 379 area, so I was like, okay, let me try and get in as close as I can to it. Maybe we wick up, maybe we don't, but it's overall very, very low risk, so it's something I'll take, any day. So as soon as I get in, a couple buyers stepped in right besides me, I assume, and we had this pop into 387s. Or I'm sorry, 388. I took my whole piece off at 386, so it was just a little scalp off the lower trend line. The reason why I took it off here is because looking left on this wedge, you could see, we came up, had these upper wicks. We couldn't really break over this 387, 390 area. So when we were coming up to it again, I noticed momentum was slowing down. I noticed the times and sales were slowing down. And I noticed that there wasn't many bidders willing to step up in this area and overpower the sellers. So that's where I was like, okay, let me sell at 386 into the bid. Let me take this small scalp win and finish off my day, So I think this one was, a pretty good trade in my opinion. Did look like it was going to flush, however it didn't, and I was able to profit on that. Another trade that I took on the day was PT. This is one that Mikey had called out. We had this nice 5-minute flag break, and I believe I was on the 3-minute at the time. So once we pulled into this pivot over here, you can see, a nice 5-minute flag. This is on the 1 minute, so it doesn't look the cleanest. But we have this move higher, into 98. Then on this pullback, you know, it was still low volume relative to the buying pressure. So I was like, okay, let me see if I can get some off this 86 pivot over here. So I got filled, 86 exactly. As soon as I got filled, we just knifed. And I took my piece off at 83. So like another one, you know, clean setup. However, you know, it just knifed through support. And, you know, it happens. It's a trade that I would take any day. But like looking at it now, overall, there wasn't much volume. And I should have noticed how when we came up to this area, we stuffed. So that's something I should focus on more later. Like, wow, look at this. Yeah, as soon as, you know, they overpowered, and same thing over here. Wow. Something I did fail to notice. I think I'll blame this on me being super tired. But yeah. So that was my trade on PT. Rev. I got long on this lower trend line over here. Where is it? Right over here. Got filled 522. Had a quick pop into 530s. I took my first piece off at 531. We had a high of, I believe, 534 right over here. Took my piece off 531. Then ultimately, you know, more sellers walked in. This was during lunchtime. More sellers walked in, and then I cut my remaining piece at 515. And I'm pretty happy, you know, I followed that. We didn't quite crack the level. However, it was kind of this VWAP area. And, you know, if I did hold and, you know, looked for that break back above 525, I would have got caught in this. So I'm pretty glad that I cut. And another thing I remember noticing was, okay, every time we're coming up to this 530 area, you could look at the volume. It's slowly chipping from buyers to sellers. You can see overall, you know, it's more selling at this time. So I think the trade idea was there, you know, clear one off the lower trend line. However, there just weren't enough buyers overall to support my thesis. And, you know, ultimately we took the small break even on it. What else was there? USEA. This was another one. I remember this was a 1 minute trade. We had this high over here. And we started putting in this nice flag over the highs. You could see high volume push. Wow, okay, look at that stuff candle, damn. So we have this like high volume push into this area. Low VPA pullback, holding over our highs right over here. And so I decided to get long with, I believe his name is E.T. Sofilas. He was in the stock chat. And ultimately we came up to 235s. I got a piece off at 233. As soon as I took my piece off, bam, we got knifed. So I ended up taking the rest off at 223, 225. So you can see, you know, the volume is just, someone was waiting for that last pop to sell into it. Should have noticed it on this candle that someone was, you know, selling really heavily up in these areas. You can see right over here as well, right here. And then ultimately, I guess this is their last piece. They're like, all right, shit, I'm taking it. So, I mean, clean 1 minute flag. Going forward, I think I should wait a little and try and see if we can form maybe a 3 to 5 minute flag, as 1 minute flags won't really provide the best move since they are on a, you know, smaller time frame. You know how they say the larger the time frame pattern, you know, the greater the potential breakout. So that's something, you know, I should have listened to from reading all the books that I have read. And going forward, I think I should work on that a little more. So covered SNTI, covered Rev, covered USCA, covered PT, APND, APDN. Let's see if there's any more that I took. Yeah, so I'm pretty sure that was it. Yeah, that was it for me on the day. So overall, it was like more of a paper cut day. It's not anything I'm too, you know, worried about or anything I can't make back. But just looking at, you know, all my trades with you guys right now, I think my execution could have been a lot better on some names. Like APDN, I think I nailed it on APDN. That first trade, you know, I didn't obviously, but the second one, I think I did extremely well on that one. SNTI, I also think I did extremely well, you know, 3 back-to-back green on that one. And then like Rev, you know, I think I did a good job noticing how the sellers, you know, were walking in. There weren't much bidders coming in. Same thing with MMAT. So going forward with stuff like MMAT, when I notice the tape is really heavy, I think I should, you know, look at the float and, you know, see what's really going on. PT, just, you know, failed trade. I'll take that, pivot hold any day. Same thing with CRKN. I'll take any retest any day, so I'm not really mad about that. However, like I said on CRKN, I am, mad that I waited so long to cut. I should have, started cutting, like I said, on the 1 minute when we could not break back over the 8 over here. USEA, that one was just... USEA is really something that I think, caught everyone by surprise that was trying to get in off this pivot. Like, even on the 3 minute, we kind of held this area. And then, overall, this jackass just walked in. Excuse my language. But on something like this, I think I should look left more often and, notice, okay, we came up to this area. Someone's selling. We tried coming up again. Someone's selling here. And then ultimately, someone really sold off their position. So... yeah, those are my trades on the day. Tomorrow we come back better, man. That's what we review for, right?
Come back better, 100%. Oh, one last thing too. Can you pull up IMUX?
Oh yeah, you just reminded me because that's one I actually wanted to go over as well. So
the only thing I wanted to point out was is my
This
first
thing just had a short
trade.
squeeze.
Yeah.
Like 10 minutes ago.
yeah, we held this high over here.
Yeah. Did you take any trades on this?
Me, I did not. So when I was playing SNTI, I noticed this 5 minute flag. I was on live with my buddies. We were trading together, and I was telling them, "Yo, there's this 5 minute flag on IMUX. Let's get long." But I was so focused on SNTI because it was a quicker mover. This one was kind of lagging in a way. I actually did make a post on my Twitter later on in the day. I'm like, IMUX, I don't know why, but I hesitated on adding this 5 minute flag. Would have paid. And like looking at it now, like it definitely would have paid. Like look at this, rode the trade line all the way up.
Oh, man. Dude, I was literally, this thing has been my main focus all week. And like yesterday it was dragging, but then it would like pop. Even this morning, I think it had like 2 million like traded, and then right after that 5 minute flag, it screamed up to like 9 million shares, and
Yeah.
ultimately I think it ended at like 20, almost 25 million.
Yeah, even on the 10 minute, look at
but-
that flag. Really clean over this pivot. I wish I...
What time was that one? Because I think
that was 10:40 Eastern. So I believe it would be like 9:40, or maybe 8:40 for you.
it's 8:40, yeah.
Yeah, I wish I didn't hesitate on this, man. I wish I took
That's
it.
the one that I took, yeah.
It would have...
8:40, yeah. And dude, I wasn't even like, it's so hard for me to like focus on chat and trade these, because I feel like the market has just been so brutal that I literally have to like focus on trading and like, it definitely.
Dude, honestly, try trading without chat. Try, because that helps me sometimes, because it just takes away all
I
that
have.
chatter and you have,
I
yeah.
have.
a lot of noise.
Like after I made this trade, and I took a break because it was a good trade. I went for a walk for like 45 minutes, and came back and just when I was sitting back down, like I look at chat, but then I just focus on my trading. But that call you had on SMTI, Soleil, was that was a nice read, man.
Were you able to profit on that one?
I didn't. I was gonna take an entry when it dipped below 4, but just couldn't muster up the mustard.
Yeah, it happens. It happens. But yeah, this was textbook,
so
man.
regretful though, but
I'm actually gonna screenshot this for put it in a little 5 minute flag chat over here.
and when it dipped below that 4 mark right there, I think that's what it was. Like I had my hand on the buy button and all, and I was like, man, this thing could go south, but it didn't.
Yeah, I remember one of the reasons I even though we hit 397 and this was my risk area, I remember one of the reasons I didn't exit is because I believe I was on the 1 minute as well as the 5, And I was looking at the tape, and every time we came down here, the times and sales was just lighting up in green. So I was like, all right, there's definitely buyers here. We'll probably get one more leg. And to be completely honest, I don't think I looked at the daily at all on this to see where we could go. Um, so that's something I should work on later. But I see we did get rejected off of this 430 area. Ultimately, we could have squeezed up into maybe 450s and got an extension maybe into fives. But overall, with the way the market was moving in the morning, I highly doubt that move would have happened. You could see, right after we made that new high, kind of that ascending double top, sellers just, smacked it down over there. So good trade on both ends. Good trade for the longs and, good trade for the shorts.
Yeah, on IMUX too, that high of the day, that big 5-minute red candle. I was actually read on the name too, because I think I forget. I was trading like crap today, but I did notice. I was like, okay, this is a freaking huge red candle. So I actually went short, and this is the first time I've gone short with like decent size and made a little profit. So I was like, hell yeah,
Let's
it's
go.
like a dead giveaway. That huge red candle on the 5. And I was like, all right, this thing's going down further. And sure enough, I waited for like the 1 minute. There wasn't even much of a pop. It went down. I forget where I even entered exactly, but it was right after that first big red one, and then it popped just a little bit into the second. Yeah, just took that tiny pop into that second one, and I entered in there pretty heavy, and it just kept just knifing. I was like,
nice.
Dude, this thing has been, honestly, I can't believe that it's still on a tear. The news that came out had something to do with you guys probably know more than I do, but it was like something to do with like a 60 million. It wasn't like an offering, but it was something.
It was a private placement equity.
Yeah. Which basically, isn't that ultimately like diluting shares?
Honestly, I have no idea, to be completely honest with you. I have a slight idea of what it might be, but so I'll give you a tip for small caps. When you're looking at news for small caps, you just have to be looking at keywords. So when I see this, I see trading higher, announced 60 million, private placement.
Yeah.
So you got to read in between the lines.
For it to run for, it's been running all week. Like my first trades were in the I think high 4s, low 5s on this thing. And we're at 11. It's just insane that.
Just a really nice extension. I mean, it could be an extension that who knows? Maybe tomorrow morning company drops an offering. So.
Yeah, and that's what I've been so fearful of, and that's why I've been taking such short trades. And I also noticed on the daily, when this thing massively sold off whenever it was, maybe last month or 2 months ago, like that first day that it bottomed, there were like 24 million shares traded, and the volume is green, and it's just like somebody is manipulating this like crazy, I think. But
yeah, it definitely could be something. I could, if the market gives us a nice day tomorrow, honestly, we could probably, because I was looking at the daily right now, like just now, and I could see, realistically, we don't, we have that.
Look at that green volume bar on the day that it massively sold off down to $2.50. No, to the left there.
Right over here.
Look at that green candle, dude.
Yeah.
It's just like somebody
they're all exiting now.
Yeah, right, 100%. They're all exiting. They're going to buy a Lambo. They're having a good day. But overall, I could see the volume slowly picking up on the daily. Who knows? We could possibly see this extension into 1250s, and then ultimately we get over 1250s and hold. We could possibly come up and test this pivot over here, which would be the 1340 area. Over 1340, we could possibly test this double top. And the reason I say very possible is I want to add this to it. There's probably a very high probability, even though we are extended, that we might be able to come up and test this area for one reason. Normally when stocks, clear over 10, start hitting 11, There's a very high probability. Oh, look at that 10-minute flag over here over the $11 area. Real nice.
Yeah.
How's the volume look? Very light overall. So when a stock normally gets over 10, and then gets over 11, 11.50, there's it starts to give a higher probability of it continuing into 13, 14, and then ultimately it'll start dying out near 15. And like looking at the daily, if we look left even further, kind of same thing. We got over 10, hit 12 area, crashed all the way down, and had that one massive short squeeze into the 14, $15 area. Then I think if we can get over 15, I think possibly $20. From my experience, when a stock normally gets over 15 area, it usually has a higher chance of squeezing into $20. So I'm not gonna throw a price target out there or anything, but all I'll say is this should definitely stay on watch for the remaining
Dude, it's
week or two.
I mean, this is still my main focus personally, but it's definitely been giving some hurtings to some shorts because even that short squeeze after hours, man. I feel like if you're shorting this, you got to be on your toes because
this thing. I mean, it's already
when
proven.
It hit that, like the top of that one candle, I think it was like 1090, something like that. It just screamed up to 1130.
Yeah.
And man, I'm just talking about the end of the day and the after hours.
Yeah. I see we held this 1030 area, but even right here, like, really nice volume, crazy volume came in and had the squeeze. But yeah, definitely probably a lot of shorts, on their tippy toes right now with this. But that's kind of better for us longs because that means, more people we can potentially, try and squeeze out of their position.
Yeah, it's what kept me from, going super long yesterday and today. And, it ran up $2-3 yesterday, ran up $2 today. I just keep thinking that it's going to fail, that it's going to just go into this massive short, sell-off, but
Yeah.
it hasn't.
I mean, normally, you're a day trader, so normally, like, you should have the mindset of when you get into these things, you're not trying to hold them,
Yeah. Don't fall.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
something
exactly
like
what
this,
Ben
though,
just
it's
said.
like if you take a step back and you look at the 10, it's like I don't think this thing's gone through the 8 the entire run, the entire week.
Yeah, it's definitely a clean mover, but let's see what it looks like with the extended hours off. Yeah, I see on
What's
the
that?
10,
What's that level 2 you got there, Delay?
Which one?
Is it that like?
Oh, this is
fusion?
trade ideas. So if I move my Discord, you can see I have there's my playlist. So you can see I have the trade ideas. This is just the Momo scanner. However, I have it minimized so I can fit my TD.
Oh,
Yeah.
gotcha.
Normally when I'm looking at this, I'm only worried about what symbol is hitting the Momo. I'm not really worried about if it's a halt up or anything like that. So that's why I have it very tiny like that. Then if you guys know a way I can make this Discord smaller, like, because you see how I can only go this far. If you guys know a way where I can make this like half, that'd be much appreciated.
Is it smaller?
No, I tried, like, I literally sat here one day, I'm like, come on, and I looked online and like these people are saying, oh, you gotta go within the, like I guess the data for like the Discord files and mess with that, and I'm like, man, I'm not a computer geek. I don't know how to do all that. So I was like, whatever, we'll just leave it.
Yeah, I didn't even know that. I just tried. Yeah, you're right. It doesn't go further.
Yeah, it would be really cool, to have just half of this so I could fit more things over here, or possibly extend this down. I think that would be really cool.
Yeah. Just get another screen.
I have another monitor, but I execute on that monitor, so
Oh, I gotcha.
yeah.
That's why I get another one. Just keep getting monitors.
Yeah, I bought 2 extra monitors, hooked them up to my PC, and then I found out that my graphics card only supports 2 HDMI or 1 HDMI, 1 DVI. So now I'm like trying to find a decent priced graphics card because I've been looking for one and they're all in like the $600-$700. I'm like, dude, I'm not dying for it, so
Yeah, I feel you.
yeah. But eventually we'll hook the PC up some more and it'll be better.
I feel you there.
Yeah. or maybe two, because I have, this is a 34 that you guys are looking at right now, and I have a 27 to the left of it. So maybe I should get rid of that 27 and put a 34 over there as well.
That would work too.
Yeah.
Or you could like a iPad or something and just have Discord running on, but that wouldn't work because you can type on it.
Yeah, I thought about that because I have a Mac that I don't use anymore, and I was like, you know what? Why would I go from one keyboard to another? Like, I feel like it would just be like time consuming and not very effective. Because if I screenshot a 5-minute flag or something, then I got to do it on the Mac to send it in chat, and it'd just be too much like time consumed.
Yeah, no, for sure. That makes sense.
But yeah, we'll get there. What else did you guys trade or like on?
I traded way too much. It was really a bad day for me. It was not disciplined. But the good news was I fought back. I fought back twice from. I think I was telling me about this. Fought back twice from pretty big negative to finish out a little positive. But I was just over trading. I traded. Let's see, 14 different names today.
Wow. That's a lot.
Yeah, it's dumb. But tomorrow,
when you go into like when you're switching between these tickers, are you just like quickly like mapping out or charting out like levels and such, or how do you like? Because it takes me, because I get easily distracted and all, but I really gotta I gotta watch level 2. I gotta see how the things fly, moving and all. Otherwise, I'm just like blindly like taking an alert personally.
So normally, just how I navigate that is I have 8 tickers up on my right screen, and I'm just looking for a leg. If anything has a leg, I pull up on main, and then I'll quickly try to find whatever the closest pivot is below it. And pivot and or an ADMA, and then I'm just waiting for that entry.
Nice.
And it's all about executing that. So today I just didn't execute well at all. But I mean, it doesn't take long to. All right, there's a leg somewhere. Big green leg, big volume. All I'm doing is waiting for that pullback, and then I just need a pivot somewhere near it.
Are you using hotkeys?
No, but I probably should. I don't know. But no, I just hit buy, sell.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, same thing kind of with me with what Jizban just said. So on this one that you guys are looking at, I normally have 8 charts here. And on my other monitor, that's why I have, level 2, times in sales, and my active trader. And so, like, for me, I kind of do it a little differently because, like, when I'm looking at the 8 charts, if I see something that's potentially, setting up or, like Jizban just said, it puts in that leg and is now pulling back, and I think I may possibly enter that for a trade, I'll take that one over to my executing monitor, and that's where, I'll start monitoring level 2 on it, start looking at the levels. But for me, during the day, like in the morning, when I do get up early enough, that's when I'm marking, all my levels where we can potentially go. But yeah, so 8 charts here, and then my executing screen is where I'm like reading level 2, the price ladder and all that good stuff.
Right. And so to your point too, exactly. In the morning I do the same thing where I'll go through, because normally there's, I don't know, maybe 4 or 5 like really good stocks.
Yeah, the gappers, yeah.
And then I'll put in, all right, what's the pre-market high? What's like, or is there a 5-minute high? And mark those levels on it so that they're already on there.
Yeah.
Uses it. And then same as you. I also I bring over whichever one my main monitor is. That's where I have that the same setup as Mikey with the 5, the 5-minute, the 1-minute, and then the trade ladder and all that. So look at level 2 and everything too.
Yeah.
And analyze all that. But yeah.
Yeah, I got a similar setup to Mikey. So like basically on the left side of mine, it's level 2, all that, and then I have a huge 1-minute, then I have a 5-minute here, and then a little daily over here. So pretty much the same setup, just kind of flipped around the other way.
Yeah, nice. that, it's pretty simple stuff.
Yeah.
As far as looking at, it's just about executing. That's what I need to do better going for tomorrow.
Yeah.
Execution.
Well, at least you know where you went wrong. Like you were saying earlier, you overtraded. You weren't disciplined enough. So it's always a good start to understand where you went wrong, so that way you know exactly what to work on the next day. So props to you for that.
Appreciate it. I think we all have ideas of what we need to do better tomorrow.
Definitely.
That's the last day too, so let's make it count.
Yeah, definitely. I wanna see everyone on here tomorrow with some nice winners.
Yep.
Hopefully the market gives them to us.
Even if it's a small green day, I just want everyone to be green.
Yeah, definitely. It's always a nice feeling to. I like to call Fridays no baggy Friday.
I love it.
That way you go into the weekend, because if you be realistic with yourself, if you take a shitty L on Friday, you're gonna go into the weekend like kind of salty. But if you have even a solid green day, you're going into the weekend happy. You're going in pumped for the next week, and it's just it's a good feeling. All in all.
Yeah, helps you study, helps you get motivation.
Yeah, I've had one too many brutal Fridays going into the weekend. It's like I'm used to Fridays just kind of being not good.
Yeah, I can relate to that.
But tomorrow we're changing it.
That's right.
Definitely.
Breaking that habit.
Definitely.
All right.
We know what we got to do. We just got to do it.
Yep.
Thank you for your time.
Of course. Thank you guys for joining, man. I really appreciate it.
Yeah.
Let's fucking crush tomorrow. Stick to our edge. Buy those pullbacks.
Sounds good, man.
5-minute flags, baby.
5-minute flags. That's my My 2 things I'm gonna do tomorrow is just buy 5-minute flags, and I want to have one trade that I hold for longer than
Let's
5
go.
minutes.
Let's go. I'm holding you to that, just Ben.
One trade that I let it go. At least like a quarter of it or half.
I'm holding you to that.
Alright, one trade tomorrow.
Let's get it.
Dude, watch IMUX. You'll probably be able to hold it for 20 minutes.
Maybe even a couple days. Shit.
I hope so. We'll see.
No, tomorrow is Friday, so.
A lot of manipulation, but we'll see.
Yeah, if there's a 5-minute pullback, I'll be there.
Definitely. Alrighty, guys. Enjoy your evening.
Okay.
Stay safe. We'll catch you all tomorrow.